Well, here we are. This is one of the more polarizing cases from Unsolved Mysteries. A lot of people, this case likes to break people down into two camps. You either feel bad for Dottie Caylor or you're shit and you deserve to die, basically. And I am of my own camp that believes that both of these people are fucking trash. Well, Jeff, he abused Dottie, and you should feel bad because he abused Dottie. Well, apparently, according to him, she abused him also. It was a even it went both ways. Well, she hit him, yeah, and he hit her. You cannot give one person a pass while the other person is just as guilty. But anyway, so let's get to the whole breakdown. Basically, what it boils down to is a man. His name is Jewel. I think his name was. I'm not sure if he's still alive. Could fucking care less at this point. His wife disappeared. Dottie, she was apparently an agoraphobic, and it sounds like he abused her, but she gave it as good as she took it also. Let's just say that she gave it as good as she took it. So she disappeared, and people have always kind of blamed the husband for it. He did it. If he did it, he did it. If not, he didn't. I could fucking care less at this point because, like I said, both of these people just seem to have hated each other. And if she is alive and she is, I'm not sure if she's still alive. I'm not sure when she was born. Well, it looks like she could be born. She was born in 44, so she just turned, it looks like she would have just turned 60 this year? Wait, that can't be right. No, 24. No, she would have turned 80 this year. Sorry, 80. If she is alive and with somebody, good, fine. That's nice. She got out of an abusive marriage. It sounds like they did an update later at the end of the video, and it sounds like he was happy. He's apparently living elsewhere. He has the dog or something. So, these two people deserve not to be around each other. Both of these people are shitty people from what I understand. But anyway, so we will get to the case reading right after these commercials from the 1990s.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper will be back in a moment, so nobody move.
The world of toothpaste has been turned upside down. Introducing the Colgate Clean and Easy Stand-Up Tube. What was once uncontrollable is now predictable. What was once lost, you can now find. What was once a mess is now clean as can be. Colgate's Advanced Formula Toothpaste. Now in the new Stand-Up Tube. No other tube of toothpaste stands up to it.
Here's how the mind reacts to two pizzas for $5.99. Shock, disbelief, denial, and finally, acceptance. Now at Little Caesars, two pizzas for $5.99.
Doozy.
Though we know you love butter, Fleischmann's found something other. It's move over butter. All the smoothness of butter with a rich, creamy flavor. New move over butter.
New Fleischmann's Move Over Butter.
So, we have the case of Dottie Caylor. Basically, Dottie Caylor disappeared in 1985. It is believed that Dottie and her husband had marital issues, and it's believed that her husband may have killed her. I'm not going to pass judgment because her body was never located. All I can go by is the evidence of what was said. And that's about it. That's all I'm really going to say about that. So if you are new to these videos, this is where I have a computer program read the case, and I like to have it dressed up as my uber sexy secretary. Her name is Jasmine. Basically, she reads the majority of it, and then I will pick up the last part. So let's actually switch over, shall we? So let's do this. I got the selected. Hopefully, it'll work. So the beginning. Dottie Caylor. Real name was Dorothy, or was, who knows. Dorothy Mae Rusnak Caylor. Nickname was Dottie. Last known location was Pleasant Hill in California. The date was June the 12th, 1985. She was a former legal secretary. Date of birth was January 9th, 1944. She was 5'9", 190. She was married. A white female with brown hair and blue eyes. Dottie suffers from agoraphobia, fear of public places. She wore plastic-framed eyeglasses at the time of disappearance. She has a scar above her left eye. Okay, let's see if I can get this to work. So let's right-click this and then read the selection.
41-year-old Dottie Caylor and her husband, Jewel, lived in Concord, California, a suburb of Oakland. On June 12, 1985, he drove her to the Bay Area Rapid Transit Station in Pleasant Hill, 3 miles from Concord. The Bay Area Rapid Transit System, known to commuters as the BART trains, links San Francisco with East Bay cities. Dottie reportedly entered the station and purchased a ticket, a simple task performed each day by millions. But this was a test of courage for her. She suffers from agoraphobia, an irrational and overwhelming fear of being in public places, facing the unknown and the possibility of panic shadows every step.
Now, I'll admit I'm not an agoraphobic, but I don't like really interacting with that many people. I do it a lot because I have to, I work, so it's part of my job. But like when I'm off the clock, I prefer to just stay home. And if I have to go out into the community, I do it either late at night or early in the morning. The only time that is going to change is there's actually a nice new Chinese restaurant that has opened up. But due to the fact we're still within the first couple weeks of it opening up, it is like the biggest news in this area. And that place is currently busy. So I'm waiting for the crowds to start dying down before I go over there. But I can definitely understand, like she has that fear. Now, I don't think it's mentioned if the fear that her agoraphobia is based on her life with Jewel or not, so I'm not going to get into that. Okay, Jasmine, you may now continue. Come on.
No one knows if she overcame her fear that day and boarded the train. What is certain is that since that day, there has been no trace of her. Initially, Jewel thought that Dottie had left temporarily to make things inconvenient for him. Her sister, Diane Rusnak, thinks that Dottie could have disappeared in the beginning to get even with Jewel since he had disappeared on her for half of their married life. However, Diane cannot imagine her doing that for a long period of time. Immediately after she disappeared, Dottie's family and friends wondered why a woman so afraid of the unknown would leave behind everything she had and everyone she knew. At first, they thought she may have left to escape an unhappy marriage and start a new life in another city. But as the months and years elapsed, there was no word from her. Holidays, birthdays, and anniversaries went by. Now, her friends and family are wondering, could she really have vanished voluntarily?
Okay, if there's one thing I've learned from Unsolved Mysteries, hell, even with this the previous case that I covered, the case of Glenn and Bessie Hyde, I've learned that basically people can disappear just off the face of the planet, like the aliens have taken them away. So this isn't like anything shocking to me. People disappear all the time and are never found. But of course, because Jewel, beat her up, apparently he must have done it. That's the mentality that
Voluntarily?
these people have.
Or was her disappearance more sinister? Dottie was from Chardon, Ohio. She loved to read and write. She was quiet and kept to herself. After graduating high school, she attended secretarial school. In 1964, when she was 20, she moved to Berkeley, California, where Diane lived, and found work as a secretary. Dottie and Jewel first met in 1970. She was 26 and he was 33. He had previously dated her roommate for 3 years. He introduced himself as Jim Rupp. Unbeknownst to her, he was married and had a 5-year-old daughter. Shortly after they began dating, he professed his love for her. Several months later,
Okay, I just want to pause real quick. Yeah, he had. It looks like that he had a wife on the side. But is that justification enough for somebody to kill another person? I don't think that this guy would kill his wife because he was known for having a wandering eye, basically.
Dottie found out about Jewel's wife, daughter, and real name. When confronted, he claimed that he and his wife were planning to divorce. Still in love, Dottie decided to forgive him. Soon after, they moved in together. However, he dragged his feet about filing for divorce, claiming he did not want to pay his wife alimony. After Dottie badgered and begged him, he finally filed for divorce. In April 1975, he and Dottie married.
Okay, that should tell her. That should have told her right then that we have a problem here. If he said that that they were in the middle of a divorce and then he was dragging his feet, that should have told her that this guy may have not been Mr. Pert or Mr. Right for her. Come on.
Married. Jewel was an entomologist and aerial photography specialist with the United States Forest Service. After he and Dottie married, they settled in a house on Greer Avenue in Concord. But over the years, her home became a self-imposed prison. According to Jewel, she stayed inside most of the time due to her agoraphobia, anxiety, and insecurities. She could not even apply for a job, much less hold one down. He claims it was a real problem. Dottie and Jewel's marriage deteriorated. She was often home alone because he was working out of town over 50% of the time. While he was gone, she was unable to contact him. She also had no friends in the area. The situation seemed to make her anxiety and agoraphobia worse. Dottie was cautious and planned her days down to the minute.
Okay, the one thing that has me kind of confused is apparently Dottie knew what she wanted to do with her life. She went to secretarial school. She got a job. So I'm wondering what actually caused the agoraphobia to start, to manifest. It could have been something that she had, like it was like a smaller case of it when she was younger or something. But it just seems like she had a vision of what she wanted to do when she got older. And then it just seems like everything went off the rails when she developed this agoraphobia. Come on.
Then, on Thanksgiving Day in 1981,
Okay, hold on. This shit, it acted up again. God damn, this fucking program. Holy shit. See, deteriorated. Okay, I'm gonna just kind of re-select. How the fuck is it that this thing? I think I've seen this. This program has to have been out for quite a while now. How is it that it acts up this badly? Oh my god, I forgot how long this case is. Okay, there goes. Okay, let's continue on. Let's go back all the way up here. As you can see, we're going to have a lot of stuff we're going to be hearing. Okay, Jasmine, you may now continue. Anytime now.
orated. She was often home alone because he was working out of town over 50% of the time. While he was gone, she was unable to contact him. She also had no friends in the area. The situation seemed to make her anxiety and agoraphobia worse. Dottie was cautious and planned her days down to the minute. She made lists for everything, such as her household chores and books she liked. Her friends and family blame much of her habits on Jewel, as they believe he went out of his way to avoid being home. Over time, Dottie became suspicious of Jewel and his long absences. She took charge of the household accounts and started keeping track of his trips. She became aware of phone calls, motel rooms, and dinners that led her to believe that he was cheating on her. She wrote letters to women she believed he was seeing. Several of them responded, confirming that they were seeing him. They claimed that they did not know he was married. Dottie and Jewel often had angry, loud arguments about the affairs, which were overheard by neighbors. However, she always forgave him and fought to save their marriage. Diane believes Dottie stayed with Jewel because she preferred it to being alone and in the unknown. Then, on Thanksgiving Day in 1981, the relationship erupted in violence. Dottie told her friend, Paula Powers, that she and Jewel had gotten into an argument after he accused her of hiding a checkbook from him. According to her, he became violent and began throwing things around the house. He also threatened her. According to Dottie, Jewel hit her with her typing stand, and she received a wound on her head. She grabbed a pair of scissors and said, "You keep away from me." Neighbors heard the argument and called the police. By the time officers arrived, Dottie had driven herself to the hospital, where she received stitches.
Well, apparently her agoraphobia wasn't that bad if she could drive herself to the hospital. Regarding what her friend Paula Powers says, that's that's like secondhand information. I'm not going to go with that. I want to see actual police reports and all that shit. It's kind of like how he said that, she went after him with a pair of scissors. That's secondhand. That's from him. I want to see actual fucking evidence. Like I said, I'm not taking anybody's side in this. To me, they're both people that should not be near each other. Come on.
Stitches. She then spent the night at a battered women's shelter. Jewel claims that Dottie started the fight. According to him, she stood over top of him with the scissors, swearing at him and saying, "I'll kill you. You son of a bitch, I'll kill you." He claims he grabbed her typing stand and hit her with it in self-defense. The police investigated the incident, but since neither of them decided to press charges, the case was dropped. Along with this incident, Dottie had made other allegations that Jewel was violent and abusive towards her. She wrote letters to his parents, accusing him of physically and emotionally abusing her for several years. She claimed that on different occasions he kicked her, shoved a table into her, threw a scalding cup of coffee at her, and shook her while threatening to kill her. She also claimed that he repeatedly threatened to pop her off. He denies this.
Pop her off. What?
In one letter, Dottie said that Jewel had told her that when he was younger, he built a bomb and blew up his neighbor's dog. In another letter, she said that he had planned on killing his first wife because she was going to bankrupt him in their divorce proceedings. He said that he was going to sneak into her house and slit her throat. Dottie talked him out of doing it. Dottie also wrote a letter to Jewel's supervisor, claiming he was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and was a psychological and physical batterer. Her friends felt he was controlling. She told family, friends, and neighbors that she was afraid of him. She told neighbors to call the police if they heard her scream. Jewel, however, claims that he was the one who was in fear.
Okay, like, even if she had agoraphobia and she was afraid of the unknown, anything would be better than remaining in a marriage where both parties are just fucking each other up all the time. It sounds like that Dottie had some sort of, at least, and this is what kind of has me confused. She has, had some sort of friend support system already there for her, which is kind of odd because they originally made it sound like she had literally nobody when they moved to that area. So if they had no one when they moved there and she was agoraphobic, where do these friends come from unless they were from out of the area? And if they were from out of the area, how can we really take their word, for fact if they were not there to actually see the events? Hell, I could tell somebody, like that I launched a genocide, but as long as if there's no proof to back it up, then it's not real, And no, I did not launch a genocide. Don't even think that. I'm too lazy to do something like that. Come on.
He says he installed a lock on his bedroom door to keep her out. He also claims that she often walked in front of the TV carrying a knife in a threatening manner. After the Thanksgiving 1981 incident, Dottie told Jewel she wanted a divorce, but he refused. She told him she would reconsider if he attended counseling. He attended the required number of sessions, but refused to sign a statement saying he abused her. Despite that, he told her he still loved her and wanted to stay married.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me reread this. Dottie told, that she wanted a divorce, but okay. For a minute, I thought it said that he wanted a divorce. I'm like, wait, what? Okay.
However, she later discovered phone calls and hotel receipts, which revealed he had conducted another affair. Dottie needed to pull together the threads of her disintegrating life. So in 1984, she joined Women in Transition, a support group for women who were preparing for divorce or had lost their husbands. Without ever telling Jewel, she attended meetings for over a year. Dottie also started attending church, took college classes, and received counseling for her agoraphobia. She told her support group members about Jewel's affairs, his abuse, her fears of being abused again, and her plans to divorce him. She told them that she had had enough and realized she did not need him. Dottie met several new friends through the group, including Paula and Shelley Wilson. Paula thought Dottie was making tremendous progress. Shelley became a role model for Dottie and helped her plan her future. She remembers that Dottie started adding more color to her outfits. She started taking more care of her hair and cut it in a new style, which, according to Shelley, was scary for her. She also started to get a handle on her agoraphobia. To Shelley, it was as if a new Dottie were emerging. Diane also felt that Dottie was a new and different person and was confident and strong.
Okay, everything that her friends are saying, like I said, I don't go by what fucking secondhand statements are. I want to see fucking proof. Give me police reports. Give me video evidence. Give me video testimonials from Jewel or Dottie. I don't give two flying fucks what the friends say. I don't give two flying fucks what Jewel or Dottie says. I want evidence. So the only limited evidence that there is here regarding the abuse is the incident where she had to go to the hospital. I think that's where the scar came from. That's above her eye. I don't listen to what fucking people says because anybody can make up a story.
Dottie placed the check in a locked file cabinet,
for fuck's sake.
which all.
Oh my God, really? Jesus Christ. This is the one. Okay, so let's clear this. Oh my God. We will start with Scroll down. My God. You have one job, Microsoft. One fucking job. Okay, let's start again.
Confident and strong, Dottie made sure Jewel never met her new friends. He claims he knew nothing about her secret life. He believes she wanted it that way. He claims he only became suspicious and began to become aware of it around the time she disappeared. In the fall of 1984, Dottie secretly rented a post office box so she could receive mail without Jewel's knowledge. She applied for credit cards in her own name, opened a personal bank account, and transferred $5,000 into a cashier's check due to expire in October 1985. The money, which she kept a secret from Jewel, came from a truck and trailer she had sold. She planned to use it in case she had to leave him at a moment's notice. Dottie placed the check in a locked file cabinet, which also included bank records and documents that contained evidence of Jewel's affairs, abuse, and threats to kill her. She asked Shelley to keep the cabinet at her house because she did not want Jewel to find it. She wanted the documents to be turned over to the police in case something happened to her. Shelley asked her to move in with her, but she said that she liked staying in her house.
So she would prefer to stay in a house where she was possibly put at risk instead of actually living in a house where there's safety there. Does that seem to make any sense to anyone? It doesn't make sense to me. If apparently she's getting into a point where the agoraphobia wasn't bothering her anymore, so we couldn't use the agoraphobia as reasoning for her not wanting to leave the house. She had friends, she had support there, so the fact that she did not want to move kind of makes me believe that that Dottie along with Jewel just like the conflict basically.
House. In the spring of 1985, about 1 month before Dottie disappeared, Jewel told her he had to accept a job transfer to Salt Lake City, Utah. She told him she was not interested in going with him. He does not think he would have wanted her to come anyway. According to Dottie's family and friends, she planned to stay in their Concord house. Around that time, she told Jewel she wanted a divorce. On April 11th, she talked to a lawyer and started taking classes on life after a divorce. On April 19th, she and Jewel met with a divorce mediator to discuss the division of property and the dissolution of their marriage. They decided she would stay in the Concord house and pay him monthly rent payments.
Seems fair.
According to Shelley, Jewel was not happy with this arrangement. Since Dottie had not worked since they married, he felt she was not entitled to the house. He also did not want to pay her alimony. They argued about how much rent she should pay and about her staying there, but she refused to budge from her plan. Over the next few weeks, she packed up his belongings and put them in storage. In May, Diane met with Dottie. She noticed that Dottie seemed frantic. Dottie said she was not going to let Jewel control her anymore. She said that he wanted her to sign loan papers to refinance their house, which would give him the money to buy a new house in Salt Lake City, but she was not sure if she wanted to do it. She was worried about finding a job and paying rent. She also wanted him to suffer as she had in their marriage. On June 5th, Dottie sent a birthday card.
Okay, so like I said, I'm not going to fucking take anybody's side. They both seem like miserable little pricks in my opinion. It just literally just said that she worried about finding a job and paying rent. She also wanted to make him suffer. They were in the middle of getting a divorce. If you're getting a divorce, you're breaking away from the person. Is it really worth constantly just trying to to torment each other? Like I said, these people good riddance to them not being around each other. That's all I can fucking say. I'm glad that they broke apart. And honestly, I feel better for the neighbors, you know. Finally, they'll be like, oh, thank fucking God we're not hearing that shit anymore.
Card to a friend. She wrote, I'm in the home stretch now. A few more weeks and he'll finally be out of here. Hooray! A few days later, when a loan officer called and told her that the loan for the house had been approved, she said, good. However, Jewel claims that he and Dottie later argued about her refusal to sign the loan papers. On Tuesday, June 11th, Dottie made a to-do list to prepare for taking over the house. It included getting new house numbers, registering her car, and buying food and drinks for herself. Jewel took a sick day. That morning, they visited a mechanic. While there, they argued about money. The mechanic was the last person, other than Jewel, to see Dottie alive. According to Jewel, on Wednesday, June 12th, Dottie set off on a trip to visit a friend. He did not know who the friend was or where they lived. At 8 a.m., he drove her to the Pleasant Hill BART station. On the way there, she told him she would be gone until around June 24th, when he left for Salt Lake City. Jewel claims he dropped Dottie off and that she walked around the corner of the station and disappeared. He is certain she had her turquoise leather purse and overnight bag as she walked into the station for the last time. But he cannot be sure that she ever boarded the train. The next day, Thursday, June 13th, Jewel parked at the Concord BART station and took the train to work in San Francisco. He told coworkers he was not feeling well and decided to take a half day. Around 1 p.m., he returned home and got off at the Concord BART station. In the parking lot, he was surprised to find Dottie's blue 1963 Volkswagen Beetle parked next to his car. When he looked inside, he noticed her purse on the floorboard. He thought it was strange that she had left it there. Jewel.
Yeah, what's the fucking odds that her vehicle would be parked right next to his, you know? Also, I find it kind of strange that they were divorcing and everything, and he's still giving this lady a ride, man. I'd be like, you know, no, fuck you, we're divorced. You get your fucking ass out of here. By the way, where's my fucking rent?
Jewel opened the car and looked inside Dottie's purse. It contained several items, including her wallet, medical card, medications, checkbook, glasses, a BART ticket, and $30 in cash. Her wallet contained her driver's license, a current Diablo Valley College student identification card, and her library card. However, her bee sting kit, which she always carried in her purse because she was allergic, was missing. Her overnight bag was also not in the car. Jewel left a note on Dottie's car, asking her to contact him. He also put her purse in a paper bag, hid it under the seat, and locked the doors. He then moved the car to keep her from getting a parking ticket. The next day, Friday, June 14th, Dottie's car was in the same spot, so Jewel moved it again to a spot around the block.
Okay, if it was me, you know, if I was divorcing my wife because our marriage was just so fucking shitty that we were beating each other up, the last thing I'd really fucking do is care if she got a ticket or not. I'd be like, no, fuck it. Let the lady get the fucking $35 ticket. I don't give a shit, you know? So I can understand why people don't like him, but like I said, I'm just going based off of the history that these two people have. Neither of these people are fucking outstanding citizens. You have a guy who treated his wife like shit, who had multiple affairs, but on the other hand, you also have a wife who apparently didn't have a problem taking scissors to the guy. I'm not fucking in anybody's camp. I'm in my camp when it comes to this case, and my camp is basically the camp of they're both fucking shitty pricks. Next. Come on.
Block. He then drove to his parents' house in Lindsay, California, and left his and Dottie's dog with them. He also left a rug there. Over the next few
A
days,
rug.
Jewel left a 4-page letter and 2 more notes on Dottie's car, talking about problems he was having with the house. He accused her of messing up his life by refusing to sign the loan papers. He also expressed his love and pleaded with her to come home, saying he was worried about her. In a postscript for the letter, he maintained that it was her idea, not his, for him to seek out other women. Starting on Friday, June 14th, Shelley tried to call Dottie but received no answer. Finally, on Sunday, June 16th, Jewel answered. He told her he had not seen or heard from Dottie for 3 or 4 days and did not know where she was. He also said that she had left her car and purse behind. Shelley became upset and was almost hysterical. Dottie had told Shelley how important it was for her to have her purse with her at all times. It contained everything she considered important. She felt secure when she had most of her things with her, and she felt safe out in the world. Shelley asked Jewel if he had called the police and reported Dottie missing. He said he had. However, when she called the Concord police, she learned that no report had been filed for Dottie. At that point, she felt something bad had happened.
Okay, I don't. Like I said, number one, that's secondhand information. I don't think that the police willingly give up information to total strangers that are not actually related to the people. That's why they always say, "Are you a loved a husband or a family of a member of the loved one or whatever?" Yes. My name is Jeff Miller, and I'm just curious. Has this missing report been filed on such and such person? Oh yes, Mr. Miller. Yeah, we will let you know. We're looking at the paperwork right now. Yeah, no, there's been nothing that has been registered at all. I'm sorry, I don't fucking buy it. I don't buy it. It doesn't mean that Jewel didn't whack the wife. He may have. But I'm not going to fucking go by what somebody says. And also, for her being... Have you noticed that this fucking... Oh, God. Agoraphobia. It seems to be like a fucking spring. Or, is that the right word? A yo-yo, basically. One minute she's agoraphobic. She can't do anything. The next minute agoraphobia is over. She's having a better life. She can do this. She can do that. She can do this. She can do that. Next, if agoraphobia is back, she needs her fucking purse. I'm sorry. I'm just not fucking buying this. She's a friend of Dottie's. I would not put it past her to say that stuff that would paint Jewel in a bad light. You know, that's what friends who stick out for each other. They will stand with their friend in the trenches, and that's what she's doing. If it means, hell, I'll embellish stuff. You know, like. What I find weird is I don't think I've heard them mention at all anybody from Dottie's family actually say anything. It's been always Jewel talking about his experiences with the wife, and then you have a bunch of cast off friends who are literally just there. You know, I want to hear family. Why haven't we really heard anything about Jewel's family? You know, like any excerpts from the Jewel's parents or Dottie's parents or Dottie's family or Jewel's family. The closest thing that I can recall that they mentioned was that Dottie wrote Jewel's parents letters, basically.
Happened. She called Dottie's other friends and family, but no one had heard from her. Diane called local hospitals, but Dottie had not been admitted to any of them. At 3 p.m. on Monday, June 17th, 5 days after Dottie vanished, Jewel filed a missing persons report with the BART police at the urging of a neighbor. The following day, the Concord Police Department was finally notified of Dottie's disappearance, not by Jewel, but by the BART police. On Wednesday, June 19th, 1 week after Dottie disappeared, Diane called Dottie and Jewel's house and learned that movers were there. When she and Shelley arrived, they found that the movers were loading everything from the house, including Dottie's belongings, into a truck. Diane did not understand why Jewel was taking all of Dottie's belongings if, according to him, She was not supposed to return to the house until after he left on June 24th.
Okay, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe he's doing it to fuck with a woman. I can't help but think that's what it is. This couple has to be the most toxic married couple. You know, at least top 5 toxic married couples that have been on Unsolved Mysteries. I could not put it past Jewel. I would not put it past him that he would literally do something like this just to fuck with his ex. She's not gonna sign that loan paperwork. I'm just gonna move it. Take all her stuff. That'll teach her. Like I said, toxic married or toxic partners at this point, or whatever you want to call it, ex-partners. That's good. That's a good name. And this is why I stay single, because I don't want to go through all this shit.
June 24th. Diane discovered that Jewel had repainted the house. Also, on Sunday, June 16th, the day before he reported Dottie missing, he called a real estate agent and asked her to list the house for rent. He claimed he was forced to put it up for rent because Dottie had not signed the loan papers before she vanished. Diane asked Jewel where Dottie was going to stay if she came back. He did not answer. Diane and Shelley grabbed anything from the truck that they recognized as Dottie's. They also took her car. However, they believed Jewel kept many of her belongings. They felt that Jewel was more concerned about his financial situation than Dottie's disappearance. Jewel claims that since Dottie...
Okay, well, I hate to shit in your chicken soup, but they're divorced. They're divorced. It isn't like he's, mandated by law anymore to give 2 shits what she does. And by the way, did they just acknowledge that they basically stole some of the stuff? I'm pretty sure that the car was not in the friends' names. I'm not saying that Jules had the right to take it either, but I'm pretty sure that 2 no-name friends, I'm pretty sure that they did not have the names as co-owners of the title of that car. Yeah, Jules a piece of shit, but are these 2 friends, are they really that good when they're just going onto somebody's truck and taking shit? I don't think so. And besides, he has the right to rent the house out. It is his house, Come on. Oh, don't tell me you're fucking up.
In January 1986...
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, hold on. So on June 24th. Jesus Christ. Okay, so, there you go. But yeah, like I said, by the sounds of it, he had majority ownership of that house since, because they worked out a rental thing. She was going to pay him rent for the house, that while she was staying in it. So that must mean that the court must have decided that he actually owned more stake in that house than she does, or she did, Okay, so.
Collateral to secure a loan for his new house. On June 24th, 2 weeks after Dottie vanished, he moved to Salt Lake City, where he still lives and works. Shortly after the move, Jewel and Diane talked over the phone. She recorded the conversation. He believed that Dottie either voluntarily disappeared permanently, was going to come back and disrupt his life, or was dead. He also claimed Dottie took over $30,000 from him. The police questioned Dottie's friends, relatives, neighbors, and men she met through a Christian singles organization. They also searched her and Jewel's house. They found no evidence of a struggle or a recent cleanup inside.
Well, she had a right to see other people. You know, she was divorced.
In January 1986, Diane hired private investigators Francie Kohler and Randy Ontiveros. Kohler believes foul play was involved in Dottie's disappearance. No one has heard from her since she disappeared. She left behind all her clothes and belongings, along with her dog. Although her bee sting kit was missing, the instructions were left in her purse. She did not take any money from her bank account, nor did she pick up the $5,000 check she left with Shelley. There has been no activity on her accounts since she disappeared.
And? Come on.
Dottie's family and friends do not believe she would make plans to start a new life away from Jewel and then walk away from everything and everyone. Shelley believes Dottie would have stayed with her if she wanted to get away from him. She and Dottie's other friends never heard her talk about disappearing for a long time.
I'm sorry, but judging from what I've read so far, it seems like it'd be something that she'd be willing to do. That she would actually set up this one path that she was going to go on. That she divorced Jewel, then she's going to have this one life, but she actually had a secondary backup plan. That, you know, she will have you ever seen the movie Gone Girl? And no, it's not exactly the same premise, but I can imagine this being something like Gone Girl, where basically Jewel treated her like shit, she disappeared, and basically it makes Jewel look like, you know, even more shit than he already is, you know. She said that she did not want to sign, if I remember correctly, they say that she did not want to sign the loan paperwork because she wanted to mess with the guy. It's not that much of a jump to kind of figure out that if she was willing to fuck with the guy this way, then she could possibly, you know, mastermind some other plan to fuck with the guy.
Time. As their attempts to locate Dottie turned up no new leads, Diane and Kohler started to worry that she might be dead. They began to consider Jewel a suspect. They felt that his story did not make sense. Kohler notes that Jewel is the only one who reported that Dottie went to the station. No one knows if she actually went there. In fact, he was the only one who reported seeing her at all on June 12th. Jewel took several sick days.
Okay, so that's one thing. This is one of the things that just gets to me. It's like, you know, this regards the fandom of Unsolved Mysteries. Well, he was the only one that saw her go, you know, that took her to the BART station. Therefore, he must have done something to her because nobody else saw her. Okay, well, going by that same fucking logic, he claims that she assaulted him, but people are like, oh no, she did not assault him because he was mean to her, but she did not assault him. Well, you can't have it both fucking ways. If you're claiming that he may have done something to her because he was the only one that did, you know, that took her to the BART station, then you have to give a little bit of credibility to the idea that she could have fucking assaulted him if he said so. You know, it's like, come on. This is why I don't get into fucking camps when it comes to fandoms. I am in this for myself. I think that they are both shitty people. It's biased. That's what it is. That they're just biased. They want to believe only what they see, whereas I see them both as being just.
The police asked
people.
Jewel to take a polygraph several times, and each time he refused. At one point, he sent a 12-page letter to detectives, giving reasons why he would not take a polygraph.
Uh-oh.
When Jewel was questioned by Kohler and Ontiveros, he changed his story about the day of Dottie's disappearance. He claimed he helped her wash her car around 3 p.m. and then took her to the BART station. When the inconsistencies were brought up, he said that his original statement was correct and that he must have helped her wash her car the day before. Detective Donald Make of the Concord Police Department says that if this case proves to be anything other than a straightforward disappearance, Jewel will be considered a suspect, along with anyone else who was close to Dottie at the time. Jewel claims he is not bothered about being a possible suspect. He suspects that Dottie either willfully disappeared and then was helped to permanently disappear, or she got involved with the wrong person right from the start.
And
Years have passed, and still, no one knows if Dottie built a secret life for herself to escape an unhappy marriage, or if she was simply the victim of foul play. Diane thinks there is a chance that Dottie is dead, which is disturbing for her to think about. She has had many dreams about Dottie's disappearance. The police and friends she has spoken to have come up with hundreds of ideas. She feels there is no peace, rest, or conclusion. But, she says, they will not forget Dottie. Jewel says it was hell living with Dottie and having her disappear the way she did. Yet, since he has gotten to Salt Lake City, gotten settled, started his new job, and that whole problem. This case originally aired on the November 29th, 19...
Okay, that's it. Okay. Well, I'll finish reading it here because, as you can tell, the goddamn program that reads this out aloud, apparently that program is doing drugs today because it is all over the fucking place. See here. Basically, Joel says it was hell living with Dottie, having her disappear the way she did, yet since he has gone to Salt Lake City and gotten settled, started his new job, and that whole problem is now behind him, things are really pretty good for him. Okay, so suspects. Jewel is considered a possible suspect in Dottie's disappearance. He was the last person to see her alive. Nobody else could verify she ever made it to the BART station. He cheated on her several times during their marriage. He also threatened her with physical, and was physically abusive towards her. She kept documents that detailed his affairs, abuse, and threats. Okay, now they never really talked about what these documents are. What are these documents and that chronicle or these that detail the abuse and threats? I want to know that shit. They were planning to divorce. She was planning to stay at their house when they moved, or when he moved, which he was not happy about. I'm not sure if it wasn't that he was happy about it. I think it's because she fucking dragged her goddamn feet regarding the loan. The guy needed a loan so he could go to Salt Lake to do his job, basically. And as it stated in the earlier, she was basically doing, delaying everything just to fuck with the guy. Like I said, these people are not good people. I'm sorry, you may not like me saying this. You're blaming the victim, Jeff. You're blaming the victim. No, I'm blaming them fucking both. Jewel is a shitty person, and she is just as shitty as he is. See here. Okay, so let's continue on. Jewel took several days off work around the time Dottie disappeared. She also, after she disappeared, he did not seem concerned about her. Why? Why the fuck should he be concerned? They're divorced. If I divorced somebody that I ended up hating, I'm not going to be sitting at home every day going, oh my god, my ex-wife has disappeared. Oh my fucking god, what am I going to do? Oh my god, I just can't live anymore. The person I had to get a divorce from because she was a raging fucking lunatic bitch, she's disappeared. Oh my god, what am I going to do? No. People don't do that. A fucking ex disappears and they're like, hell fucking yeah. Hell yeah. Ding dong, the witch is gone, See here. After she disappeared, he did not seem concerned about her. He never contacted her family or friends to see if they knew their whereabouts. Once again, like I said, he's an ex. Why the fuck would he really be concerned? They hated each other by the end of this. I'm not going to fucking reach out to people to inquire if a person that hated my guts is okay. I'm just going to want to get distance between me and that person. If she disappeared, fine. She disappeared. If she's living and happy, fine. Just keep her the fuck away from me. That would be my mentality. Let's see here. He packed up her belongings and rented out their house, which was his right. even though she was supposed to stay there when she came back from the trip. Dottie went on a few dates in the months before her disappearance. So there's a chance that one of the people that she was going to see could have done something. It's a known fact that some of these blind date services are dangerous. However, she told Diane in December 1984 that she was not going to date anyone until after the divorce. Apparently, she was dating. She went on a few dates. So, what is it? Is it before her disappearance? She went on. Fuck it. I'm not going to fuck it. The men she went on dates were questioned, but none are believed to be suspects. Okay. How long? Oh my god, we got another fucking long result. Holy fucking shit. Oh my god, I can't believe how long. Jesus fucking Christ. How the fuck long? Holy shit. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so extra notes. The case originally aired on the November 29th, 1987 special number 4 of Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack as host. Later reprofiled Dennis Farina in 2008. Was on Trail Went Cold and PI Declassified podcast. Some sources state that Dottie and Jewel married in 73. She joined a support group, yada yada yada, BART station, yada yada yada, June 13th at noon. Okay, oh my fucking god, I cannot believe there's still fucking more of this shit. Holy shit. The thing is, if I remember correctly, the video itself, I don't think it was this fucking long. I've been talking about this case, or this has been recording for over 52 fucking minutes. Holy shit. Okay, let's actually... Oh my god, I can't believe that. Oh my god. Okay, so let's continue on, shall we? Read aloud selection.
Unsolved. As a result of the broadcast, the police received several tips about possible sightings of Dottie. However, none were found to be credible. Another viewer contacted the police after she recognized Jewel as a man who was engaged to her friend, Della Vigil, at the time of Dottie's disappearance. Jewel had never mentioned her to the police. Detectives questioned Della, who had also worked for the U.S. Forest Service. In May 1984, she and Jewel met after he gave a work presentation in Lakewood, Colorado. That night, the two went to dinner. He told her he was divorced and had no family. After Jewel returned home, he started calling and writing love letters to Della, saying he had never been in love before he met her. He used a post office box as his return address. He visited her several times that fall and spent Thanksgiving with her. In December 1984, Jewel proposed marriage and Della accepted. He bought her a diamond engagement ring and a wedding band. However, he would not commit to a wedding date. He also refused to let her visit him, claiming he lived in motels in San Francisco and did not have a permanent address. He told a similar story to other girlfriends. In the spring of 1985, Jewel accepted the job in Salt Lake City to be close to Della. In the weeks before Dottie disappeared, he wrote several love letters to Della. Around the time Dottie disappeared in June, he had planned to visit Della in Colorado. One day, however, Jewel called Della and said the tenants in his rental house had left a mess. He said there was blood on the walls, and it looked like they had killed an animal in the kitchen. He said he had to paint the walls and have the carpets cleaned. She offered to help him clean, but he declined. In reality, he did not have a rental property at that point. In late June, Jewel moved into his Salt Lake City house. He told Della he wanted her to move in with him, but that did not happen. Months passed, and he still did not set a wedding date. In October, he wrote her a letter in which he talked about their relationship. He said, "I have faith in myself. If I did not, I could never have come here." That took a most Herculean effort, one which you will probably never fully understand, because it was so difficult I really cannot talk about it or think about it coherently to tell you about it yet. That Christmas, Della visited Jewel at his house. He finally told her that he was still married to Dottie. He then said Dottie was gone and he did not know where she was. Della then discovered one of Dottie's calendars that listed Jewel's visits to Colorado. The dates listed coincided with the times he had visited her. The next day, Della confronted Jewel about Dottie's disappearance. He said he hated Dottie and there was violence in their relationship. He said she was mentally unbalanced, always yelling and throwing things at him. He said she attacked him once and he hit her in self-defense. He said they got into a few other fights that left her with bruises. He also said he carried a gun and kept his bedroom door locked because she had threatened to kill him. Jewel said to Della, "If I have to, I'll kill Dottie first." As a matter of fact, she's gone, and if she is dead someplace, it's good riddance. He also told Della that they did not have to worry about Dottie interfering in their lives. She's not going to come and hurt them anymore, and she was out of his life for good. He also said, maybe she is dead somewhere, maybe someone killed her, and if somebody killed her, good riddance. Jewel told Della that he struck Dottie so hard one time that he could have killed her. He said that on another occasion, he had his hands around her throat and easily could have choked her to death, but he did not. He also said it would be so easy to kill her because of the way she treated him. When Della asked Jewel about Dottie's disappearance, he said, "I don't remember." He told her that Dottie had vanished simply to disrupt his life. Della felt he was not interested in finding Dottie. She could not believe how cold-blooded and cold-hearted he was about Dottie's disappearance, which was much different from how he had acted before. Jewel also bragged to Della about how easy it would be for him to dispose of a body. He told her that he had buried the family dog after it died. He used a chemistry set to keep the dog from smelling so the neighbors would not complain. He told Della that if he ever wanted to get rid of a person, he would use something similar to what he used with the dog. Della knew that Jewel had special knowledge of lands that the general public did not have access to. She began to fear that he had killed Dottie and was going to kill her. Frightened, Della left that day. Before leaving, she called her mother and told her to call the police if she did not arrive home within 10 hours. For several months, Jewel wrote to Della and tried to call her. In one letter, he said his love for her was so strong that he would kill for her. She was so frightened that she ended the engagement and cut off contact with him. By December 1986, he had moved on to another woman who was also a co-worker. However, in February 1987, Jewel called Della and asked her to meet him in a remote area between Durango, Colorado, and Salt Lake City. He said he wanted to talk to her about getting back together. She refused to meet him, fearing that he was going to hurt her or make her disappear like Dottie. In January 1988, a month after the broadcast, the police received a letter postmarked Gary, Indiana, which accused Jewel of killing Dottie. It stated that he beat her to death in their garage with a tire iron on the morning she disappeared. He then buried her body at the bottom of an embankment under a birch tree in a remote area of Concord, where new homes were being built. Maps of the burial location and the garage were included with the letter. The police determined that DNA from saliva on the stamp and envelope belonged to a male. However, they have been unable to match it to anyone. A document examiner believes the letter's handwriting is similar to Jewel's. However, no definitive match was made. The police believe the writer was either a psychic, a witness to the crime, or the killer. In March 1988, detectives spoke to a Salt Lake City insurance agent who had worked with Jewel to transfer his car insurance from California to Utah. He told her that his wife had disappeared and he wanted to remove her from the policy. She said he showed no feeling and little remorse over Dottie's disappearance. According to the agent, Jewel began to visit her at her office and once brought her a rose. During one conversation, he told her he did not believe in divorce and said it would be easier to do away with them. He also showed her several aerial photos he had taken of a forest. She believed he was showing her where he had buried Dottie's body. After the story was re-aired in December 1988, a motel desk clerk contacted the police. She said Jewel had stayed at her motel several times in 1984 and 1985. She claimed that he became obsessed with her. He wrote her romantic letters even though she was living with another man. She said he
Okay, and this is, like I said, this is secondhand knowledge, or secondhand, claims, or whatever the correct term is. I find it funny that there has been no physical evidence presented to show any of this. Normally, this website, they'll show pictures and stuff. You're telling me that these people have made all these claims against Jewel. Okay, let's go all the way back up here. So you have all these pictures here. This is a volunteer website. You're telling me that let's say Della, for example. You're telling me that she would not go onto this website and simply just post a snippet of these letters? No, there's nothing here. I'm sorry. It's all hearsay basically at this point until there is some sort of official actions from the police. To me, Dottie's still missing. Who knows what happened to her?
He would not take no for an answer. She also said she had to quit her job and move to get away from him. She became afraid of him and told friends that if she ended up dead, he was responsible. In the summer of 2001, a reporter interviewed Jewel about Dottie's case. He claimed that he forgot about her disappearance and assumed she was deceased. He also changed his story, claiming he never drove her to the Pleasant Hill BART station. He assumed she drove herself there. In August 2002, Detective Kurt Messick of the Concord Police Department interviewed.
Okay, hold on. So, basically, regarding the interview, normally these interviews there's some sort of audio recording. You're telling me that there has been nothing to back this up. Why did he take the recording to the police? I'm sorry. Just because you interviewed somebody doesn't mean shit with me. It doesn't hold water. I want to hear audio, video. I want some sort of evidence.
Jewel claimed he did not argue with Dottie before.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Really? Come the fuck on. See here. Interview. Okay, we'll just start from here again. But isn't it funny that these people make these claims and they have no way to actually back up what they're saying? That's what I'm trying to say, is that they're making these grandiose claims, but there's no... This guy interviewed him. Do you have actual proof of this interview? Do you have a video or a recording of him? Do you have audio? No, nothing. There's nothing here. Literally what this sounds like, it just sounds like a bunch of people who are trying to get their 15 minutes of fame. And they're jumping on a bandwagon because they know that Jewel is already hated. So, well, if, I don't have this proof, but if it actually comes out that Jewel actually did kill his wife, or kill his ex-wife or whatever, see, I told you he did it. I told you. No, sorry, shithead. I want proof. No, come on. Oh, Jesus Christ. Over an hour because of this fucking program. Holy shit.
Dottie Caylor. Edit. Dottie and Jewel Caylor.
Oh, fuck off. I forgot. I didn't do it the right way, so let's go back all the way down here. Oh my god. Okay. Come on. But yeah, like I said, I just want evidence. Is it wrong to refuse to get on the bandwagon and just, instead of, like, just say somebody's guilty because that's what everybody says? Is it wrong to actually want proof presented to them? Like, I want proof. Okay, read. I'll open. Where's it? God, continue from. Okay, let's try this. Come on, please read.
He was responsible. In the summer of 2001, a reporter interviewed Jewel about Dottie's case. He claimed that he forgot about her disappearance and assumed she was deceased. He also changed his story, claiming he never drove her to the Pleasant Hill BART station. He assumed she drove herself there. In August 2002, Detective Kurt Messick of the Concord Police Department interviewed Jewel. Jewel said that Dottie had him drop her off at the Pleasant Hill BART station several times before her disappearance. He claimed that she would be gone for 3 to 5 days, and he never knew where she went. He said he last saw her when he dropped her off at the station. He was not sure what day it was or whether it was morning or afternoon. Jewel said he found Dottie's car at the Concord station the next evening. He previously said he found it at 1 p.m. He claimed he did not find her purse until a few days later. He previously said he found it the same day he found her car. He also claimed that nothing was missing from it. He previously said her bee sting kit was missing. Jewel claimed he did not argue with Dottie before she disappeared. He previously said they argued about refinancing the house. He believed she either started a new life with a new identity or had help disappearing. When asked why he rented their house when she was supposed to stay there, he said he needed money. He also said she could have moved in with him if she came back, even though he planned to have Della move in with him. Jewel never had Dottie declared legally dead. However, in June 2003, he filed for divorce on grounds of willful desertion. A Utah judge granted the divorce and awarded all of the marital property to Jewel, which included their Concord house and undeveloped property in Oregon. However, Diane filed a lawsuit and the divorce was set aside. The judge later ruled that Dottie was already dead when Jewel sought the divorce, so there was no marriage to dissolve. In January 2004, Jewel retired. He then ran for Utah's House of Representatives as a Libertarian Party candidate. In March
what?
The Contra Costa Times published a 5-part series on Dottie's disappearance. Shortly afterward, the Concord police reopened the case as a homicide. They re-interviewed all of the original witnesses who were still alive, along with new witnesses. They also began pursuing new leads based on information disclosed in the series. They also named Jewel a person of interest. Detective Messick interviewed John and Peggy Nesbitt, who lived next door to Dottie and Jewel. Jewel had told Peggy that he and Dottie had a terrible fight, and he believed she left him. Jewel also told Peggy that he had found Dottie's car keys in her purse inside her locked car. Peggy thought that was strange because she believed a key was required to lock the car. She wondered who locked it if Dottie's keys were inside. One Volkswagen repairman said there was a way to lock the door without a key. However, the president of the Vintage Volkswagen Club of America said the doors could only be locked with a key.
Now, I'm not sure if, it's the same thing. I used to have a 1990 Mazda 323. It's either 1990 or 1991. Mazda 323 is a little hatchback, real small car. Normally, if you would lock the door, like say you open the door up and then you push the lock down to lock the door and then you close the door, the lock would actually pop back up. However, if you pushed the lock down, you lifted up the door handle on the outside and then you shut the door and then you let the handle go, then it would actually stay locked. I'm not sure if that could be done also with the VW Bug. I never owned that car, so I can't tell you if it could or could not. But it's, I'm just going by based on what my vehicle was, how I could lock it. It seems logical though, if it could,
Key. John and Peggy remembered that before Jewel moved, he told them not to cut the ivy along the fence that divided their property because the fence would collapse. About 10 years later, in 1997, John removed the ivy and discovered a rusted meat cleaver, its handle wrapped in duct tape. He turned it over to the police. When John was inside Dottie and Jewel's house helping Jewel move, he smelled what he thought was burning flesh. He said that Jewel gave him a 50-pound bag of sulfur to use as fertilizer. Another neighbor reported smelling something burning around that time. John and Peggy also reported seeing Jewel pour a concrete patio in his backyard around that time. They had never seen him do any home improvement projects before. The police speculated that Dottie was buried underneath the patio. When re-interviewed, 2 of Dottie's neighbors said she carried a fireplace poker to protect herself from Jewel. She told them he lost everything in his first marriage. He allegedly told her that he would lose the house over her dead body. Another neighbor said Jewel tried to sell Dottie's car to her husband a month before Dottie disappeared, and Dottie became upset when she found out. In mid-April 2004, the police searched Dottie and Jewel's house and backyard. Ground-penetrating radar was used to examine the backyard and patio. It detected some anomalies underneath the patio. Forensic tests revealed nothing of interest in the house. It is not known if the patio was ever dug up. At the time of the release of the 5-part series, Jewel said he believed Dottie was still alive and in hiding. She allegedly told him she could disappear and make it look like he was responsible. He believed someone helped her disappear and create a new identity. He claimed that over the years, he had received letters that contained items that only Dottie and/or Diane had access to. However, detectives later determined that Diane's private investigators sent the letters.
Okay, that's kind of odd. Next.
On April 17, 2004, Jewel withdrew from the House of Representatives.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to pause it real quick because once again it fucking skipped. Like I said, this program is being manic today, apparently. However, detectives later determined that Diane's private investigators sent the letters. In response, Diane's claim to that the couple's marriage was troubled. Jewel said that the only problem with the marriage was Dottie's mental health. He also claimed that he poured the concrete patio in 1975, a decade before Dottie disappeared. Okay, now let's continue on. Come on. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, my God. I'm just going to call it quits here. You can actually find the entire thing here. There wasn't that much left. It literally talks about how he dropped out of the representative race. I'm just not going to fight this fucking program anymore. I'm getting tired. I'm not feeling that well anyway. The allergies are really starting to hammer on me. So, yes, I'm aware. Fuck off. So I'm going to back out real quickly. I have to use the restroom. So when I return, it will be with the final thoughts, and I will see you all then. Be right back.
Thinking of getting high? You better know what you're jumping into.
Come on, let me show you what it's all about.
It's about surprises. Should they drop the bomb or keep it to themselves?
She's gonna find out about it somehow. Wouldn't you rather it came from her mother?
No, not really.
Then look who's dropping in for Hayden's All-Star Bachelor Roast.
You guys are such good friends.
It's an hour of surprises. Roseanne and Coates next. It's the year of the woman on Tool Time.
Daddy made me producer, and so now I'll be running the show.
I can take her.
Home Improvement.
Yes, all right!
And Doogie Howser's Stud or Spud.
Which one of you guys is more likely to please a woman in every way?
Danny!
A special Doogie after Home Improvement Wednesday.
Okay, welcome back. It is time for the final thoughts. Overall, this case is very polarizing, as I mentioned earlier. You are either in the camp of, yes, Jewel is guilty no matter what, or if you think he's guilty but you think there's more to it, then you are trash and you deserve to die, basically. Those are the only real two camps there are. You may think that he's guilty, but have a different idea of how guilty he is, and that'll still earn you ridicule, basically. As I said, I am of the idea that they both treated each other poorly. This case is a mystery on top of another mystery on top of another mystery. And it went for so fucking long, I just had to, the rating program was actually glitching up and everything. Do I think that Jewel himself did something to her? No. Do I think that he abused her? Yeah. Do I think she abused him? Yes. Do I think that her friends possibly know more than they are leading on? Hell yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if like I said, I mentioned the movie Gone Girl, where a woman basically went to extraordinary lengths to make it look like she was killed. I would not put it past Dottie and her friends to literally to develop this entire story, basically. I would not put it past them that they actually gave her enough money while making it look like that other money was not used. They gave her enough money to help her escape Jewel and have a nice life elsewhere. Could be in this country somewhere, the United States. I don't know. Maybe outside the country. I don't know. But I think that the friends are actually that they know more regarding this case than they are leading on. But like I said, that's just my thoughts, though. It's my thoughts. I'm not saying it's fact. It's just what I believe. And that's what a lot of the problem is when it comes to the fandom of Unsolved Mysteries. It seems like that the people who want to force their opinion on everybody, that it's their opinion, but when you have an opinion that differs than what their opinion is, oh, you can't have that opinion because my opinion is right and basically it's fact. And it just doesn't work like that. It just does not work like that. I've always found it kind of funny because there's only a few cases that I have covered that I actually get a lot of hate for. This is one of those cases. It's just because I view the players in this case a certain way, and it goes against what everybody else thinks. I don't think that either party are fucking good people. I think they're both shit people. I do not view them as good people. I do not view them as somebody I would want to hang out with. That I would ever want to hang out with. I just don't view them like that. If I saw either Jewel or Dottie walking down the street, I would turn and leave, not because I'm afraid of them, but simply because I don't want to get pulled into their fucking drama. But yeah, so as before the reading program clonked out, it seems that Jewel may be having some form of happiness where he lives, and Dottie, sadly, it's believed that she is now dead. But I'm hoping that down the road we get the answers to those questions. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry that this one video took so long to get done. The reading program was just fucking horrendous. I'm not sure what it is. I checked the browser, and the browser is actually up to date, so it did not need updates or anything. So I'm not sure what the fucking deal is. But that's about it. So stay tuned. Next week I will be starting up season 1, episode 2. Everything that I posted recently is part of season 1, episode 1. This was the final case of season 1, episode 1. So next week I will be starting up season 1, episode 2. As always, these cases you can also find on Facebook. I will actually try and post the link to this case. Trying to do the links from Facebook, it's weird. I'm not sure exactly how to do it. But I'll post a link to this case to the Unsolved Mysteries commentary that I covered also. But that is about it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all have a great day, and I guess I'll see you next week. My name is Jeff, aka GCurse, wishing you all a great day. Stay safe out there, everybody. Peace out.